Now there's a move that's been announced that's going to pause collections for about 1.1 million student loans that are in default. Aarthi, is this a permanent solution or just a temporary till they get to the next step?
Yeah, so this is it seems like this is a short-term solution. It's at least until the end of the pandemic. It's also one that's retroactive. What that means is that they feel like they should have done this before, but the policy takes time, right? So basically 1.14 million borrowers with federal family education loan, kind of quasi-private sort of federal loans. These people had their wages garnished, stimulus checks seized, they've had their tax refunds seized all through the pandemic. And the government basically stepped in and said, we're going to do something about these borrowers. We're going to help them and not have all these things happen to them. That's basically what they announced today. But this is only 1 out of 5 million borrowers in this category. These are defaulted borrowers at 4 more million people that they could help, but no news on that.
Yeah, Aarthi, I wanted to ask about that just because, like you were saying, yes, this is a huge step in the right direction for over 1 million people, but there's 5 million commercial federal family education loan borrowers out there. So what does that mean? Have we heard at all just about plans to potentially expand the help on this and expand it to help all borrowers that fall under that category?
So that's the question that we, as reporters, put to the Department of Education, who they had a press call in the afternoon. And the question was, they were still exploring our options. That's always the line they give, right? But the reason why it's so complicated is even more complicated. But the loans that were in default were basically owned by education. But the rest of the millions that are still out there, basically left out of the payment pause, they are private owned. So it's kind of very difficult for the government to still grapple with ownership over this, ownership over that. So they're just trying to help with the loans that they have right now. Again, still exploring our options, but hopefully this relief comes sooner before the pandemic ends and the moratorium basically is lifted.